We call it quaint counterpoint. But I must warn you, this segment contains humor and sarcasm. This is just for laughs, and it is not meant to be taken seriously. I'm Gambhir, and even I won't take it seriously. The moderator for today's segment is Shehnaz Sanjeeda. Adab. I'm Shehnaz Sanjeeda, moderator of Quaint Counterpoint, an occasional program of differing viewpoints in the community, brought to you in search for the truth, or at least advertisers. Well, let us meet the panel. Here is Professor Shiva Subramaniam.
No, my dear. I am Shivaz Subramaniam. Shivaz Regal Subramaniam, ex-professor of applied mathematics at the Sikandrabad, Hyderabad Institute of Technology.
Thanks for setting me straight. Now let me introduce the other panelists to our viewers.
But why?
This is Dr. Dwarka Prasad.
No, my dear. I am Daruka Prasad, formerly an economist in India, now a philosopher in America.
Looks more like a dog catcher, if you ask me, madam.
Nobody asked you. I will have to admit that you do look like a bottle of Shivas.
Gentlemen, let us quickly get to the issue for the day. Our viewers must have heard of the controversy surrounding the Aerosmith record and the boycott of Sony.
Oh, sure. Everybody has heard of the ignorant fanatics who say Sony has insulted Hinduism by putting a picture of Lord Krishna on the cover of the Aerosmith record with the face of a cat.
My dear, can't you muffle this Madrasi long enough for me to explain the matter to your viewers? First of all, I represent an organization called the Association of Hindus for Anti-Definition.
Look at this Nordi. He cannot even pronounce anti-defamation.
Oh, shut up, Saudi. I said anti-definition and I meant anti-definition. You mathematicians have trouble with words, especially long ones, don't you? Just stick to numbers, Shivas, and leave the words to me. We are an association of Hindus who don't want to be defined. Ours is open, receptive culture and religion.
Other Hindus may be receptive, but you are certainly very deceptive to me.
Men.
You tell him, my dear. As I was saying, before he rudely interpreted me, we are committed to our religion and culture. We are open to all ideas, but we don't like anyone treating us irrespectively. Why should we let a Jap company put a cat's head on Lord Krishna's body? We want to nip it in the bud, even if it comes from Nippon. We are asking all your viewers to call or write to any business carrying Sony products to protest this insult to Hinduism. We are also asking for a small donation to cover our expenses.
I bet you are asking for donation. What else can one expect from an economist? Tell me, what is so irrespective about that album cover? Didn't Narsimha, the lion avatar, have a lion's head on Lord Vishnu's body? Doesn't Lord Ganesha, the remover of all obstacles, have an elephant's head?
You see, my dear, how some people even quote from our scriptures to defend our enemies. It is okay if we depict our gods with animal heads, but we don't want anybody else to do so. Don't worry, we have a lot of community support.
And powerful financial support, if I might add.
Guys, what are you saying?
Don't pay any attention to him, my dear.
Tell her, Daru, who has financed your protest campaign so far?
Many small contributors have given $5 and $10.
But who are the major donors in your campaign against Sony?
Hiton Misachi, Tatsushita, Birlusibishi.
In other words, other multinationals companies competing with Sony in consumer electronics. Hana Daruji, did you look at those pictures after Daru ka Prasad or before Daru ka Prasad? If you look carefully at those pictures in question, you will see the cat's head is on an undefined human body, but not on Lord Krishna's body, as you people will make us believe that. And madam, Sony has already issued a full explanation. There is absolutely no insult to Hindus or any other people. I would suggest you buy some high-powered glasses from the donation and close out that website you have started to get attention.
Poet again. Actually, I am glad to hear your explanation. So, no insult, no boycott, no campaign, and no more donations. But we will have to keep the website open and find some other insult to talk about. Otherwise, the advertisers will stop paying for it. Shivas bhai, let us go and have some Shivas before the contributors start asking for their money back. And then let us talk about a new issue about the treasures from South Asia that have been taken over by England. There is an organization called ARTS.
On that note, we would like to end the Quaint Counterquaint segment for today. Thank you for watching.
Income is better than outcome.
Anyway, let's move on. The guests today are two distinguished gentlemen. The first guest is Mr. R.B. Rose.
Actually, madam, my name is Mr. Ram Bharose. See, American people had problem with my name. They always kept on calling me Ram Dodge. So I changed it to Mr. R.B. Rose.
And my other guest today is Mr. Nasi. I hope you don't have another name-related story that will waste our time.
Actually, madam, I do. But my problem is not with the American people. It's with these Indian people. See, my first name is Satya. So people started calling me Satyanasi, which, as you know, is not a well-meaning word in Hindi.
Oh, Mr. Nasi, that reminds me of my friend, Mr. Pakhraj Jain. See, American people kept on calling him Hockey Puck.
Well, if you're all done with your name stories, I'll tell you my story. My name was Jed Lalita. And since I had trouble getting a job in broadcasting, I changed it to Jed Lalita. Lo and behold, I was hired immediately under the Dalit quota. Now let's get on with our issue of the day. Mr. Arby, what is bothering you?
See, madam, I'm totally disgusted with this 50th anniversary hoopla created for this India's Independence Day by all these Washingtonian Indians. Every organization and every member of every organization associated with this hoopla is just bragging about it everywhere.
Mr. Arby, I think this is the best time for all of us Indians to brag about how well we have survived 50 years of democracy. I'm sure all people of Indian origin are proud of all the progress we have made in the last 50 years. After all that infighting to be on top, most of the Indian organizations have joined hands to celebrate this year. So what's your problem?
Yes, Mr. Arby, what is your problem? You shouldn't be bad-mouthing Indians like this.
Mr. Nasi, first of all, don't count me among those hand-joining Indians. Can you believe it that there are hundreds of organizations in this town and every one of them got invited to this circus except me or my organization?
So that's the problem. You didn't get a personal invitation to any of these events. By the way, what is your organization called?
Oh, it is called Unique. See, Unprofessional Nerds of India.
Well, that gives me U-N-I. What about the rest of the letters? Q, U, E. Where do they come in?
Oh, forget about U and E. Focus on Q. Well, we haven't figured out a word for Q yet, but pretty soon we will.
May I suggest queer?
How come we have never heard of it before? Have you, Mr. Nasi?
No, I can't say I've ever heard of it. Mr. Arby, how old is this organization and how many members does it have?
Right now, Let me think. At this point, it is very limited in numbers, but that should not matter when it comes to celebrating a national event. How could they miss an important group of people out of this? I don't understand.
But how many people are we talking about?
Well, right now, I am the only office bearer and the only member of this group. But I'm sure we will have this group prospering in geometric proportions very soon.
Let me understand, Mr. Arby. You started this organization for yourself, of yourself, and for your self-promotion. And you're upset that the organizing committee did not invite you personally?
Yes, Mr. Arby. What were you expecting? That they will make you the chairman of the organizing committee because you own an organization? Mr. Arby, you don't know. There is a long line of candidates to take up these positions. Don't you know, people will donate big amounts of money and use influence up to the level of Prime Minister's son to get one of those seats. You see, it makes them high-profile Indians, builds up their practice, and gets them to rub shoulders with embassy officials.
And that comes handy when you need your passport renewed, isn't that true?
So what are you planning to do about it, Mr. Arby?
Well, I have started to work on my own Independence Day celebration. I am going to produce a wonderful play on unity and harmony. See, that will teach these Washingtonian Indians a lesson or two about unity. But I have only one minor problem.
Okay. What is the problem, Mr. Arby?
See, my problem is I do not have any dignitary to come to this event, like Bill or Hillary or Gore family or Ambassador of India, or even a simple clerk or minister from Indian Embassy. I even tried calling some of the local TV personalities, but it seems like everybody is washing their hair that day. Except for one gentleman. My wife did not like him personally, so I had to drop him. By the way, is it a national washing your hair day or something next month?
Mr. Arby, I think they are just using it as a polite excuse. You see, many people go on vacation this time. There are very few people in town. And add to that, you are not a well-known person either in this town. I suggest that you go after some ex-dignitaries or ex-famous people.
Yes, that is very refreshment idea. See, my wife had proposed to be the chief guest at this function, but I did not want to create the image of a family-run operation, so I declined. But
No. I meant you should invite people like ex-presidents or ex-secretaries of Indian organizations. I know a few, like Mr. Daruka Prasad, Miss Palta Khanna, Miss Sumo Wrestler, and Mr. Shivas Regal. Actually, you can invite Miss Khanna and then stage your play at Jim Khanna.
sounds like a very good idea. Thank you, Mr. Nasi, and thank you, Miss JJ.
Mr. Arby, wouldn't you like to tell our audience when and where this play is going to be?
Oh yes, I almost forgot. The name of the play is Jisne Lahore Nahi Dekha.
Hold it, Mr. Arby. Are you going to stage Jisne Lahore Nahi Dekha O Janmya Hi Nahi?
Yes, but why?
I'm sorry, I have bad news for you, Mr. Arby. That play was staged just 2 weeks ago by another community organization. You know, I like that play so much, I've seen it 5 times. I love that chai wala so much.
Oh no, I am feeling sick already.
Why? Because I saw the chai wala 4 times?
No, not because of that. I don't know what to do now. See, I already missed the banquet and the festival, and now this too. I missed all the Independence Day festivals, and yet another opportunity to be in the limelight.
So, the whole purpose of this media attention and appearance on TV show was to get some limelight? Shame on you, Mr. Rose. आप बिल्कुल भरोसे लायक नहीं है. Another plot foiled.
Mr. Nasi, before I leave feeling completely worthless, would you please become the member of my organization, Unique?
I will, Mr. RB, as soon as you tell me what Q stands for.
All right. The purpose of the letter Q is just to make it unique. See, Miss JJ, you understand that. How about you, madam? Will you become the member?
I'm sorry, Mr. RB, but I'll have to decline at this time because, FYI, I am not unprofessional. Well, that's all for this edition of Quaint Counterquaint. Please join us again sometime in the future, someplace, maybe. Until then, happy chatting. Hello and welcome to another episode of Quaint Counterquaint from PTTV, that's Psycho TV, short for Psychology Today Television. Today we are going to explore the inner workings of Dr. Sigmund Freud. Who doesn't know Dr. Freud? He is a well-known psychiatrist in the area, and right now he's treating an Indian couple with marital problems. An Indian couple admitting to marital problems? Impossible. This is the first documented case. Let's go and talk to Dr. Freud. Dr. Sigmund Freud. Dr. Freud, tell us, what are you going to demonstrate to our viewers today?
First of all, let me set the record straight. I am not that sicko, Dr. Sigmund Freud, but his disciple, Dr. Sick-Mind Freud. And I'm going to demonstrate how to resolve marital conflicts and to make marital life less unhappy.
But it doesn't appear that you're doing anything. They're getting ready to kill each other, and you are just watching them.
That's right, you've got it. I got this idea from a patient of mine, Dr. Chipak Chopra. It's similar to his acupuncture technique. I have these married couples perform throat puncture. It helps them relieve stress from each other.
But how does that solve any problem?
It's simple. If one of them kills the other within 5 minutes, the problem is already resolved. And I just send a bill to Dr. Kevorkian. Otherwise, I know that there is some love left between them, and they will pay for many more counseling sessions from me. In any case, it kills time and increases my billing. Oh, drafted. You made me forget my patience. It's already been 15 minutes. Sorry, I've got to go. Stop! You have passed Dr. Freud's first test. Now, let's see if we can resolve this problem. But first of all, Mrs. Singh, tell me, why are you wearing your wedding ring on the wrong finger, the middle finger?
Because I married the wrong man. And doctor, you know you drive in the beltway. Middle finger, what do you use it for?
But what do you mean you married the wrong man?
Before I got married, he told me his name was Romance Singh. You know, romance, love. After we got married, he says his name is Romanch Singh Patiala Wala.
But that's still not bad. You know, in Hindi, romanch means thrill, and Singh means lion.
But dog, he turned
No,
out...
that's doc.
That is what I am saying, dog. He is no thrill, no romance, no sing, no lion. His name should be Raw Munch Stink. He always munches raw onion, raw garlic, raw egg, raw hamburger, and he stinks. Oh, dog.
That's doc.
But that is what I am saying, dog.
But Dr. Ji, I have a complaint too. See, my wife told me that her name is Pretty Baby, but her actual name was Preeti Beva. As soon as she landed in the USA, she changed it to Pretty Baby. She is neither pretty nor baby.
But dog, how can I be Beva when he is alive? That is why I decided to find my own romance sing. And I became Bewafa.
What? Bewafa? Oh, well, I feel pity for that fellow. Anyway, doctor, she complains about my being a Patiala wala. Do you know she is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J?
What's that?
American-born, confused, Desi, immigrated from Khosho land, housed in Jersey.
Call me A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H?
Stop. I see that you two have a lot of suppressed anger. Would you explain the reason for that?
Because we have no medical insurance policy for this.
Let me take care of that. I know how to bill Medicare.
But we are not that old.
If I combine your ages, you will be eligible. Remember, I am Dr. Sick Mind Fraud.
But dog,
Doc,
haha, the real reason for the anger is he never listens.
Huh? Ki kya? What did you say?
all right, let's forget about anger. I want to ask you about your SE life.
Sorry, folks, but we've got to censor that word. This is an Asian family show, and we can't be using that word. Plus, all those right-wing conservatives will stop sponsoring the show.
What did he say? Are dog?
Doc,
What are you saying? You don't have any shame? You ask such question? Don't you know? In our community, that we don't talk about. That doesn't exist.
all right, all right. Let's talk about communication. How is the communication between you two?
See, Doctor Ji, यही तो गल है.
Kya gal hai?
Pagal hai. I am now starting my stopwatch. It will run for 30 minutes because you have already used up 15 minutes in fighting. When your time is up, a chime will sound to tell us to end the session.
Good luck, Doctor Ji, to get my wife to stop talking just because a kanti goes off.
Shut up.
Good. Now, let's get started. How long have you two been married?
5 years.
No, 4 years and 8 months.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Now, what's the real problem between you two?
But Doctor Ji, my wife treats me like a dirt.
Don't insult dirt. Listen, dog. I have told him many times. In the office, he is low. In the house, he can be number 2.
Even for number 2, I have to ask her. Anyways, now I am number 5 in the house. After Billo, Pappu and the Tota.
But still, that is better than being number 55 in the office. Listen, dog.
Doc.
The real problem is that my husband is not decision making. He can't decide whether to drive on the left side of the road or right side. He goes down the middle of the road.
Hey, kudiye, that is just the Patiala way. And what about you? The last time you were in the Indian sari store, you tried on 27 saris and without buying anything. The sales girl was actually crying when you left the store.
I am sure you wanted to comfort her. Even so, you are indecisive, but I am flexible.
Just like I am obstinate and you are determined.
Exactly.
You two are a totally helpless and worthless case. I have no recourse but escalate to my ultimate marriage pacifier.
This is Dr. Fraud's ultimate scheme, which he rarely uses, and if adopted, it can do miracles. Let's watch.
It is called spousal happiness by unilateral termination for an harmonic process.
Okay, doctor?
Aiki ji?
Spousal happiness by unilateral termination of unharmonic process. You, Pretty, should recognize that phrase, the abbreviation. It spells shut up.
Ah, dog, I like it, dog. I like
Dog.
it. I like it. No. No, wait. I don't like it. Who is supposed to shut up? Tell me first.
In my vast experience, a marriage is not a democracy. At least no stable marriage is. The only workable marriage is a hierarchical arrangement where one spouse dominates. As they say, the marriage is a 50-50 proposition involving give and take. That is, the husband gives 50%, the wife takes the remaining 50%.
I like that.
Or the wife speaks, the husband shuts up and listens.
Yay!
Let me ask you, doctor, are you married?
Not only am I married now, but I have been married several times, 17 to be precise.
Even an old geezer like you could not have been married for 17 times. But dog, how long was your marriage? Which marriage was the longest?
It's hard to explain to an old hag, but the longest marriage would be with my present wife. That has lasted 3 years. All my previous marriages lasted less than 1 month.
But what is different about your present wife, Dr. Ji?
She is big and strong and ruthless, even though her name is Ruth. I am truly scared of her, so I always listen to her, even when I know she is wrong.
The doctor is correct. Even the doctor knows. He listens to his wife. If you listen to your wife and you obey her, everything will be good.
Yes, darling.
There you have it. Now, don't hesitate to call my office for an appointment if you need my services in the future. Your bill is in the email.
Thank you, dog. Thank you, God.
Well, folks, there you have it. A unique formula for a happy marriage presented to you by none other than Dr. Fraud himself. This just in, Dr. Fraud's 17th wife has run away with mailman, complaining that their life was not working out. Well, now you're free to judge for yourself what works and what doesn't. Until next time, this is Quaint Counterquaint, and I am... Who am I today? For Psychic Television. Anyway, what's the issue for today? Because we don't have much time.
Madam, I will speak only if you would let me. See, I'm a new mover.
You mean you own a moving company?
No, I meant I'm a new resident of Washington, D.C. I moved only about a year ago.
So what is the problem here?
See, I've been trying to break into Washington area's Indian social circles, but I had no luck.
मैं तो तंग आ गई हूँ social events और parties से. I just can't keep up with the people.
I meet lots of people at work or grocery store or social events, but somehow I never get invited to any of these private parties in the town.
I want to move out of this area and go to a place like Harrisburg, where there will be no parties and no social events.
See, Madam Chatterjee, I meet these Indians and they are very polite when they meet you outside. See, they will always say, let's get together sometime, but will never give their phone numbers. Now, how would anybody will get together
Let
with...
me tell you, I go to one party or event and guess they will book me up for the next and the next event. I haven't been able to get out of this in the last 20 years. Once you go to these parties, then you have to invite all of these people to your house, and not only those people, but their immediate family members, their distant cousins, friends of their childhood. Who gives it?
All right, Mrs. Tang. You sound just like my doctor's wife. Mr. A.G., have you thought about joining any of the professional groups like Chaprasi Samaj, Clerk and Jerk Mandal, Dakiri Association of Indians in America, and the Chai Pani Committee?
You know, I'm so tongue of these organizations in this town. There are so many of them trying to sell you event tickets.
Mr. A.G., how about joining some hobby-based organizations like Nati Bharti, Bindi Samiti, Pravasi Hala Bunch, India Confusion Conflagration Association, and so many others?
Oh, no, Madam Chatterjee, I'm not into any of these. My only hobby is watching Hindi movies.
How about joining some children's group or Indian school? That's a good way to meet people with common interests.
But we don't have any kids yet, madam.
If you listen to me, don't have any either if you're planning to stay in DC area.
Why do you say that, Mrs. Tang?
Yes, why do you say that, Mrs. Tang?
Once people find out that you have children over walking age, every Ram Krishan Hari will come after your children to perform in the cultural events.
Ram Krishan Hari, you mean like Tom, Dick and Harry?
Whatever.
I'll be happy to have kids at this point, madam. At least to be accepted by these social groups of dancing kids' parents.
How about joining some temple groups?
I have tried that too. See, first I was very welcomed and received a few phone calls to come and visit the temple and help with the temple. I donated some money, even though they did not have the Devi we worship in our subcaste. But I stopped getting calls until next fundraiser.
Oh, don't get me started on the temples now.
You know, I'm really tired of all this whining from you people. If this is such a big issue, why haven't I heard anything of it before?
I tell you why. Because you are single. Everybody invites you to get you hooked up with one of the boy in their family.
Now I understand why Mrs. Tiwari was treating me so nicely last week. I think I'll have to reevaluate my relationships.
But it's not that bad. That is how I met my wife.
Unfortunately, that's how I met my husband too. I don't even talk to the family who fixed us up.
I think now I understand the problem. You two are like opposite ends of the spectrum, north, south, east, west. I think you guys should swap positions and telephone numbers too.
Are you out of your mind? Why would I do that? It will spoil my status in the society.
Well then, I have no answer to your problems. Another issue left unresolved.
Miss Chatterjee, I will throw a party just for you. Would you please come to my party? My younger brother is still single and wants to immigrate to US. Do you have citizenship or green card?
I'm sorry, but I'm booked till my wedding day.
What? Your wedding day? When is your wedding day?
I don't know, but whenever it is, I'm booked till then.
But would you please give me your number so I will check whenever your free time is for my next party?
I can't give you my number either. Just leave me alone. Until next time, please leave me alone. We may or may not come back with another silly episode of Quaint Counterquaint. The water shortage and unemployment problems in India. The moderator is Rabdi Devi. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Quaint Counterquaint. I am your tasteless hostess, Rabdi Devi. As you know, the purpose of this segment is to bring you various perspectives. Well, who am I kidding? There is no purpose to this segment. Anyway, let me introduce our panelists today. To my left is Mr. Aluka Prasad.
Madam, I am actually Ulu Prasad. I believe you have met my cousin brother, Mr. Daruka Prasad. Perhaps you noticed the family resemblance between us. I am also Senior Assistant Deputy or SAD Minister of State for Irrigation. Irrigation in the erstwhile Dede Gowda Ministry.
Viewers, the other panelist on my right is Colonel Belliyappa, and he's retired from the Army Corps of Engineers, ACE, and now only an NRI living here in the Washington, D.C. area.
Yes, madam. Since I retired and became an NRI investor, I have grown into my name.
Yes, we can see that. Now, Oluji, you have a scheme to eradicate poverty in India?
Yes, Miss Devi, and I have applied for a World Bank grant for a project to increase agricultural production, increase rural employment, and eradicate the poor in India.
You mean eradicate the poverty? Well, how interesting. How exactly do you plan on doing this?
As you know, there is too much rain in Assam and not enough rain in Rajasthan. Now, our rural culture requires agriculture, and agriculture requires just the right amount of water. So my scheme is to build a pipeline to convey excess water from Assam to Rajasthan. So both states will have the right amount of water.
Wait a minute, Mr. UP or Bihar, whatever your name is. Why a pipeline? Isn't it simpler to dig a canal?
Well, water can evaporate from canal. It can be stolen by farmers along the way and also polluted by these people who squat outside the canal in the morning. But a pipeline is enclosed. It is cleaner and safer.
That makes sense, but wouldn't it be harder to convince financiers of such a scheme?
On the contrary, World Bank is more likely to give a grant for a pipeline because the pipe will be bought from an American company.
Mr. Ullu, I think digging a canal would employ a lot more unskilled laborers than laying a pipeline. Did you think of that? Can you think at all?
Mr. Belly, my scheme will provide continuous employment for many more people and for longer period of time than digging a canal would. You see, I don't propose to install the pipeline underground. I intend for the pipeline to rest on the shoulders of the poor and hungry people, and labor unions will give me agent's commission.
What? You mean a kickback? You deserve a kick in the back. Mr. Ullu, how long will these poor people, stand there and holding that pipe?
Just for 8-hour shift. That is, each spot on the pipe is supported by one employee. So at least 3 people full time. 1 person per shift for 3 shifts per day.
And what about their lunch and bathroom breaks?
Of course. Part-time employees will be used for weekends, holidays, lunch breaks, bathroom breaks, etc. Now, I calculate this would require 3.1417 people per meter of pipeline to be employed. This will be expanding economic pie for India.
This might be a great investment opportunity. He knows decimal values and division too. He must be okay.
But Mr. Ullu Prasad, people come in different heights. How will you make sure that the pipe is held at the correct height, at the right tilt, for the water to flow in the right direction?
Actually, Deviji, the people will be sorted by height, with tall people to the right and short people to the left.
May I suggest east and west rather than left and right? That will depend on the way you are facing. Don't you know?
Actually, I was facing wholly north. Was I facing south? Which way is north?
Okay, Mr. Ulluji, to get back to the topic, how will these people sort themselves voluntarily by height?
Actually, Deviji, right now I am thinking that the states along the pipeline will provide movie tickets at a significant discount to people in the correct height bracket. This will quickly persuade the people to sort themselves by height.
In other words, you want to replace Pandit Nehru's linguistic reorganization of the states of India with an altitudinal reorganization? That is the height of reorganization.
Colonel Bellyappa, what do you think of Ulluji's scheme here?
Actually, as you know, like all the other rich NRIs, I am actively looking for a scheme which would provide 30 to 40% return on the investment for me and my NRI friends. I want to promote ROI for the NRIs.
Don't you rich NRIs think of anything else but high return on your investments from India? You're trying to squeeze every single penny out of this country.
See, I am trying to set up the meeting with senior officials at the World Bank, like Mr. Shrikantaya, Mr. Yadav, Mr. Khanna. In fact, I have invited Pandit Nehru to have a power lunch with me to discuss World Bank financing for my scheme.
Any lunch with you is likely to be a poor lunch, not power lunch. Besides, Pandit Nehru is no more. Haven't you heard?
I am talking about Vikram Nehru, you Ullu. That is Pandit Nehru with hair. As you know, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was bald. To console him, the government of India designated his birthday as Bal Divas. Anyway, brother Ullu, I can be persuaded to sell your scheme to the World Bank using my connection. Only if you buy the pipes from my company, the one I represent.
How dare you suggest such a thing? I will never agree to anything which will only benefit you. Besides, I need all the money I can get to my legal defense fees in India.
Legal fees?
What for? The present government has brought charges of corruption against me, and I need the money for my legal defense fund. So, if your scheme can provide some money towards my legal defense fund, only then I will do business with you.
How dare you suggest such a thing, Mr. Ullu? The only corruption I support is my own. I am against all the other wrongdoing.
Here we go again. Some more people who want to preserve and promote their own interests. Well, let me promote my own interest and end this segment. That's all for this edition of Quaint Counter Quaint. Please join me again next time, sometime, somewhere in the future. Until then, happy chatting.
Mr. Ullu ji, can you guarantee 30 to 40% return on my investment? Can we work out some kind of deal so I can...
Only if you provide 50% for my legal defense fund.
Guys, the microphone is still on.
What?
This is a live show. Everybody can hear your conversation.
Oh.
You guys.
One channel, WNVC.
And now, here's another episode of Quaint Counter Quaint. Your moderator is Miss Take. Remember, this is just for fun, so don't take anything seriously. Hello and welcome to Quaint Counter Quaint. I am your host, Miss Take. Lately, we have been getting a lot of letters saying that they do not understand this segment, Quaint Counter Quaint. Let me tell you, that is because you are listening to our show and not watching it. What you need to do is when our show starts, you need to drop everything. Just leave everything and sit down and watch the show. Then you will really understand what is happening. In other words, you need to give us your undivided attention and you will multiply your enjoyment. Let me begin now. Our guest today is Mr. Motilal Potwala. Aaja.
No mistake, that is a mistake. My name is actually Motilal Petwala.
Okay, Mr. Petwala. Tell us, you are thinking about building another temple in the Washington metropolitan area. Why do we need another temple? Tell me.
Madam, there are many temples in this area, but none of them is good enough for a true believer.
How can you say such a thing? Would you please explain yourself?
You know that Hinduism is a polytheistic religion. This does not mean the Purohits wear polyester. It means that the Hindu is free to worship any number of deities.
So don't the existing temples provide for worshipping all the popular deities?
Yes, but not really well enough. For example, what if you went to the Hanuman temple and wanted to worship Lakshmi? You would be sadly out of luck.
Of course, you could go to the Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Balaji, Andal temple.
Commendable, but too inflexible. What if I wanted to worship Buddha? No, that won't do it at all. I can't find a temple of Santoshima for my sister's mother-in-law's nephew's mother.
What do you propose, Mr. Motilal?
Before we get to that, think of the practical difficulties involved in attending major functions at any of these temples. Traffic jams, scarcity of parkings, overcrowding in the temple, and facing those donation collection agency people.
It is easy to criticize, Motaji. Do you have a better solution?
You bet I do. I want to build a virtual temple.
You mean you want to promote virtues? Isn't that out of fashion now?
No. I do not mean virtuous. I meant virtual. I want to set up a temple on the World Wide Web where a devotee can log in, select the deity of his, her or her choice and do an interactive multimedia puja. We also provide a blank screen for those who do not believe in idol worshipping.
But how will you raise the funds for all of this? Will it be a free service?
Are you kidding? You must be new to this country. Of course, the website will track the costs based on type of puja and the feature selected. Then deduct their bank account or credit card automatically. At the end of the year, we will send them a receipt for tax purposes. As an additional feature, for a slight additional fee, we will even give them a receipt for more money than they have paid us.
Mr. Petwala, how will you create the temple atmosphere on the website?
For that, the devotees will be able to select a filmy bhajan, a private bhajan, or a self-recorded bhajan or shlokas. Also, to make it a really authentic atmosphere, there will be hordes of people all around you, people chatting and eating away in the background while you do the puja.
As you know, Mr. Motilal, many people go to the temple to socialize with fellow Indians. How will you achieve that in the website?
Very simple solution, madam. Just 2 words for that: chat rooms. Also, we will have eating room and sleeping room for people who like to doze off during the bhajans.
Mr. MP, like in real temples, they will have multiple levels of donation and prayer. Will you have that also on a website?
But of course, for example, for $101, one may get up to 10 deities with full 3D effect and surround sound bhajans and shlokas. And as an added feature, prasadam of laddu and jalebi in 3D effect. For $11, we will let you see one of your favorite deity for 11 seconds in 2D image only. And obviously, no prasadam.
How about for less than $11?
Well, for less than $11, you get text-only puja with a picture of a closed door of a temple.
Do you have any other special features that will suck up people's money?
Of course. Just like in temples, you have tiles engraved with donor's parents' name. We will have engraved frames on our site. One could have a permanent frame, a time-sharing frame, or a rotating frame. See, we don't suck up the money, but we provide the choices.
But is that not against the Hindu philosophy? Because it is said somewhere in the Vedas that one should not boast of one's good deeds.
Oh, for that, we also have invisible frames and anonymous user IDs.
This is beginning to sound very interesting. What are you going to name the temple, by the way?
North American Self-Help Temple for Indians .karma.
North American Self-Help Temple for Indians Bindu Karma. Mr. Petwala, it just occurred to me that the acronym for the temple will be Nastik, which means atheist. Do you think people will still visit the temple?
Oh no, I did not even think of that.
Anyway, when are you launching this website?
As soon as I have raised enough funds for an alpha or sun server, I am planning a fundraising event in association with another association, Unique, the Unprofessional Nerds of India.
By the way, who will be the chairman of the board of the trustees for this temple?
Of course, that will be yours truly.
Oh, so that is what this is all about. You just want to be the head honcho of a temple because none of the local temples will let you in. So you are starting your own temple like the lots of others. Oops, I am sorry. Cut that please.
Actually, I would not even associate with any such temple which had such low standards as to admit me.
Okay. I am sorry, but we have to wind up this segment now. That was Mr. Motilal Petwala blabbering on quaint counterquaint. I am your host, Mistake. Until next time. Hello again, viewers. This is Shehnaz Sanjeeda with a special edition of Quaint Counterquaint. Here are my co-conspirators, Shiva Subramaniam and Daruka Prasad.
Namaskaram.
Pranam.
When we started airing these Quaint Counterquaint segments, our producer was in two minds about it.
2 minds? That means at least he's not half-wit.
No, but if you keep nitpicking like this, people will know you are a nitwit.
Gentlemen, as I was saying, our producer was not entirely convinced of the wisdom of showing Coint Countercoint on the Imagination TV program.
Television.
Huh?
Imagination television, not TV.
TV, television, what's the difference? Anyway, as I was saying, since so many of you responded by emailing, calling, faxing, and all that stuff, that we have decided, actually, the producer has decided to show a few more segments.
The only trouble was we got as many complaints as we got compliments.
So the poor producer cannot make up his mind about Coint Countercoint.
You mean he cannot make up even one of his two minds?
Daruji, now as Pandit Nehru said, the time has come to redeem a tryst with the producer. In other words, it's time for us to decide whether to continue Coint Countercoint or to drop it like a garam aloo.
That is why we are doing this show, to decide whether to do this show or not to do this show.
If you want to continue to enjoy Coint Countercoint, call 1-800-WANT-IT. The call will be toll free.
And if you do not like Coint Countercoint and want to see it discontinued, please call 1-900-HIT-IT. Every call will be $9.95 per minute.
Have a major credit card ready when you call.
Well, we wanted to bring in all of our fans and have them help us decide whether to continue Coint Countercoint or not. So we searched high and low, from Indianapolis to Minneapolis.
Excuse me, madam. Why didn't you look around Washington, D.C. area,
Or in Virginia,
or in Maryland?
or West Virginia.
You think we would find anybody here? Well, believe it or not, we were able to gather all of our fans today in our studios. So let's meet them. Show them.
Okay.
All right, let's start the show. Who's got the first question? Yes, lady in red? Where are you from?
Fairfax?
Wow, very fair lady.
Oh,
from
excuse me,
Fairfax.
ma'am.
Yes.
How come no chairs for us? You are sitting on the sofa and that man is sitting on the chair. We need some chairs over here.
Who are you?
Oh well, I'm Punjab da Munda and Rockville da Gunda.
Well, he's the producer, you know.
If you want a chair so badly, produce your own show.
Your show is too hard to follow unless I drop whatever I'm doing and flop in front of the TV. But if I'm feeding the dog or changing the baby or vice versa, I lose most of your jokes.
You know, Coint Countercoint does take a little bit more attention than the rest of the show. If you want to get some enjoyment out of it.
Any other part of the show you can watch while doing your tax return.
Or while doing the New York Times crossword puzzle.
Or partial differential equations.
Or translating Shakuntalam into Swahili.
But while Coint Countercoint is on, please drop everything and just pay attention to us.
Of course, if you happen to be changing the baby's diaper when Coint Countercoint comes on, do not drop the baby.
Drop the diaper and concentrate on us.
Excuse me.
Yes, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Loudoun County.
Oh, from Lowdown County. Wow, our one viewer from Lowdown County.
You guys need to speak louder or else increase the volume on your broadcast. I have a trouble hearing the dialogue, especially because one of you guys is so ugly. My baby starts crying the minute you guys come on the air.
Why are you looking at me?
I know exactly which of us he's talking about.
Are you being humble for the first time in your life? Or you had too much of prasadam?
Men. I think the Loudon man needs to turn up the volume control on his TV. Maybe he needs to play the sound through a 6-speaker surround stereo system at full blast.
You were right. Perhaps the baby is crying because it needs to be changed, not because we are ugly. Have you thought of that? Can you think?
Of course. if the baby always starts crying when our show comes on the air, by all means change the baby instead of the diaper.
You, Mr. Rock Villain, what do you have to say?
ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਜ਼ਾਲ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਜ਼ਾਕ ਉਡਾਇਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਦੀਪਕ ਚੋਪੜਾ ਦਾ
Excuse me.
ਉਹ ਚੁੱਪ ਕਰ ਤੂੰ ਚੁੱਪ
Could we
ਕਰ
have it English here?
ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ
please?
ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਜਾਣਦਾ
Unless we know Gujarati.
ਗੁਜਰਾਤੀ ਦਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ
Yes, can you say it in English, please?
Oh, how dare you make fun of famous people like Deepak Chopra from Punjab?
If we don't make fun of famous people, do you think we'll make fun of nobody like you?
That is a job for your wife and kids. We aim our satire at the famous, the infamous, and the wannabe famous.
Because we want to amuse, entertain, and sometimes provoke you, our dear viewers.
But never offend anybody. Because we don't have any ill will towards anybody.
Of course, we don't have any will, only two minds. At least our producer does.
You there in the Indian shirt, do you want to say anything?
You mean me? Yeah. Sorry to be blunt, but some of the guys in your show, I really don't like them. I mean, can you get someone really cool like, that young dude, Shah Khan? Oh, he is so cool, man. He is awesome. Try to get him or the all-man Khan.
This question I want to answer myself. I'm glad that you brought up this topic because we have received lots of mail to that effect. We have a twofold, or is it a threefold problem? The first fold is that these guys are also the writers of this segment, so they always create very nerdy and off-the-wall characters. Now, I don't know of any respectful actor who will be willing to do those roles. The second fold is that these guys work for free. Yeah. We can't find any recognizable face who will put up with our producers' tantrums and write a semi-funny script and act as a nerd for free. And the third fold is my personal opinion. The producer, he's a little geeky, so I think he likes it that way. Oh gosh. You behind the plant, do you have anything to say?
I don't know. I was just walking on the street and they pulled me up and said, yeah, I'll give you $10. Come on by. That's why I came. I don't know what you people are doing here.
And you've been very quiet. Do you have anything to say?
Who? Yes. Me?
Yes.
I don't have anything to say. I'm waiting for my camera. Your producer borrowed my camera.
Huh?
How about you there in the back? Would you like to say something?
I am really thrilled to be here and watch you guys live in action. I watch your show every day.
Every day? We don't
air the show every day.
Yeah, we don't have show.
No, because I've taped all the episodes, so I watch it every day. Actually, I'm a PhD student from Annapolis University. And I'm doing a research on characters like Motaram Petwala, Taruka Prasad, and I love Mistake. My favorite is Mistake.
Okay,
And
that's
also-
it. I can't wait any longer. I need my camera. Okay, finish it. That's it. Okay.